All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi's Stadium getting ready for training camp practice number 13. We just talked to Chris Forster, 49er offensive line coach, moments ago. And of course, Niners getting ready for, they're practicing next week in LA with the Saints down in Southern California before the Niners take on the Saints in the preseason. Of course, the Niners take on the Titans on Saturday in preseason game number 1. Now, in this video, of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Get the brisket chili. It's all great, but get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. And this video is also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're in Pacific Grove along the Monterey Peninsula. Go down there, check out my buddy Anthony Catania and all my good friends at Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for all your sports cards and collectible needs. All right, Niners made a transaction. Let's talk a little bit about this one. I think this is a pretty good little pickup. Niners signed Tracy Walker, the veteran safety. They worked him out on Wednesday, and they announced that they have signed him, and they have released Eric Harris. And Eric Harris, a good dude. We talked to him a few times last year. Great guy. I mean, saved his career, was working in a potato chip factory, went to a tryout with the Hamilton Ticats, which led to a opportunity to try out in the NFL, eventually earned a contract with the Raiders. He's a good dude for sure, and we wish Eric Harris well, but I think Tracy Walker is quite a bit better player at this point. I mean, I know he's a lot better player. George Odom has been playing free safety, or I should say strong safety for Talanoa Hufanga, because Hufanga's out. Now, Hufanga, they're saying, may return to practice maybe as soon as this week against the Saints. So when they practice down in Southern California in Orange County with the Saints, down there, it sounds like Hufanga may be back for those practices. So that's great. That is great news. He's hoping to get back by week 1. Of course, he's coming off the torn ACL, I believe suffered back in November, if I'm not mistaken. This is a really, really interesting football player in Tracy Walker. He was a 3rd-round pick in the 2018 draft out of Louisiana Lafayette by the Lions, and he had 541 snaps last year that he played. In 2021, he started every game but 2 and played over 1,000 snaps for the Lions. Started 6 games for Detroit last year. For his career, he's got 398 tackles, 3 picks, 2 forced fumbles, and 23 PBUs, pass breakups. What he is he's a great athlete. He's from Brunswick, Georgia, 6'1", about 205 pounds, really, really athletic. Ran 4.51. I think plays a little faster, to be honest. He ran 4.51, though, coming out. 14 reps on the bench at 225. 33-inch vertical, which is, good, but nothing special by any stretch. And he's an interesting story. He's one of 6 kids, 5 girls. He's the only boy. And great athlete, great high school athlete, great collegiate athlete. Went to Louisiana Lafayette, was a star right out of the chute. He was all Sun Belt player as a freshman for Louisiana Lafayette. And he's got, tremendous build for the position, tremendously long arms, great length, great athleticism, really rangy free safety who can cover. Some scouts liked Tracy Walker as a press man corner. He's settled in at safety, but he's got coverage ability. So that's kind of everybody's got kind of a defining characteristic as a player, especially at the safety spot. Some of these guys are thumpers, they're big hitters, and they can't cover. Other these guys are great coverage guys, but they can't hit. This guy's a rangy free safety with great length, super long arms, who can really cover. The negatives for Tracy Walker is he's always been a little tight in the hips, and he doesn't turn and run and play coverage transition smoothly, and so he gives up steps in transition. He was a really productive interceptor in college. He picked off 8 passes at Louisiana Lafayette. What I love about him is he's that mix. I mean, the Niners ask a lot of their safeties. They want their safeties to have ball skills, to play proper angles, to be able to cover, because the game is a coverage game. But the Niners, for the longest time, going back to Ronnie, like their safeties to be hitters. You know, Dante Whitner, hitter. Deshaun Goldson, hitter. You know, I mean, John Lynch himself was an incredible hitter. And so they always kind of look for the guys, even in this modern game where you're looking for coverage guys, they're looking for coverage guys who can also hit. And that's kind of what I like about their approach to the safety position. And that's really what Tracy Walker is. He's a long-armed coverage corner with some tightness in his hips, who's not, you know, he's not the greatest, he's a little too tight in the hips to be a every down press man corner. But he's a guy who can cover and he can hit. And he's a great athlete with long arms. So, as I said, some people liked him as a press man corner coming out of college. He's settled in as a safety, and he's a cover guy, but he's got a hitter's mentality. So I really like this pickup for the 49ers. I mean, it's hard to find safeties who can hit and cover. You know, you can have guys that hit all day, but if they can't cover, they're going to get isolated in space on a key third down against a premier athlete, and they're going to get toasted for 6, and they're going to get forced off the football field. So you got to be able to cover, but at the same time, if you don't have the ability to hit, you just get these running backs and receivers and tight ends just rolling downhill against you because there's no fear at all of getting starched. I think you saw that at the end of the year when the Niners were trying to play, you know, veteran corners at safety against Green Bay and Detroit. They couldn't stop the run, and Detroit and Green Bay ran with conviction in those games, you know, because there was no fear. You know, but if you can put a Jair Brown out there, now there's some fear. If you can put a Hafong out there, now there's some fear. But they were leaning on Gibson. They were struggling. They were leaning on you know, veteran corners to play inside. You gotta have some run thump. Otherwise, nobody's gonna really take you seriously. So overall, I mean, it's a definite upgrade going from Eric Harris to Tracy Walker. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I think Walker has probably got a decent chance to make the team. A lot's going to depend on can Hufanga get back and can he stay back? You know, Talanoa's had he's really been very consistent everywhere he's played since college. He was great at USC, but he was hurt a lot. He's been great with the Niners, but he's been hurt a lot. So you have to account for that, unfortunately. Now, George Odom's played really, really well in this camp. Malik Mustafa looks good. He did go down briefly with a knee injury yesterday. Jalen Mahoney, the rookie from Vanderbilt, has looked pretty good as well. I'm eager to see what Mahoney looks like in the preseason. And now you can add Tracy Walker to the mix. I'll say this, it's a definite upgrade on Eric Harris, and Walker's got a chance to make this football team. So there you go, you're updated. Tracy Walker, the newest 49er. This update brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California, and Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Thanks to all of them, and thanks to all of you for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.